Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Long time no see. I know life's been kind of busy lately. A lot of things going on in my personal life that's kind of postponed the things that we're trying to accomplish here on this channel. But you know, in life there are things that are more important than race cars, so I had to take a moment to step back and take care of the things I needed to take care of. But now that things are starting to settle down a little bit, I've been able to focus a little bit more back on the channel and on the race cars, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's been going on in the background and also the plans for the near future here. I want to talk about competition school first. Of course, I had to postpone comp school. I didn't go to NCM. The rest of the team did. Charlie, Kyle, Pete, Kyle and Jen from Indiana also. They all went, they all had a blast. Charlie did take the TSX. It is running now. I will update you guys on all of that in a second here. But as far as comp school, it's been postponed until June. So NASA Great Lakes hosts two competition schools per year. The first one obviously being NCM. I missed that one. And then I was able to reschedule for the next comp school, which is going to be, of all places, at Gingerman, which is pretty awesome because that's the track that I know the best. And that is going to be, I believe, like beginning to mid-June. So comp school is going to be around there. The EG itself, it's practically ready for comp school. I did the fire suppression, window net. So in a nutshell, we're going to be ready for comp school in June at Gingerman. All right, now let's talk about the TSX. A lot has been happening with that car in the background. I haven't been able to update about that car because I've been waiting for footage or just content in general from the people that have been working on the car. So essentially what happened was the entire team needed to refocus back on our own individual cars. I needed to work on the EG. Kyle needed to refocus his attention on his Prelude, practically a whole engine swap on that thing. Charlie needed to focus on his S2. Pete needed to focus on his RX-7. And realistically, we just didn't have time to finish this car because there are so many loose ends on the TSX that we needed to tie up. We just weren't gonna have the time to completely finish this car and then also finish our own individual cars at the same time. So we enlisted the help of Andy over at ASM, and he was gracious enough to basically tie up all those loose ends for us. A bunch of stuff was completed by Andy. I mean, we got some of the wiring done. Andy went ahead and finished all of that. We got an aim dash installed. Kyle fabbed up some brackets for that. Just a ton of stuff. But at the end of the day, the car is running. It got tuned, and it was already at a track day at NCM. And in this video, I'm gonna show you guys when Andy took delivery of the TSX. And Andy and Charlie are gonna be just talking briefly about what Andy's gonna be accomplishing on the car, or what he did accomplish on the car in this case. And then we're gonna fast forward to when Andy completes the car. So with that said, sorry for the lack of videos lately. Again, just had to take care of some stuff, but I'm back and we're gonna go full force and get this car running, get my car running, get to comp school, just a bunch of cool stuff that's gonna be on the way. So stay tuned, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video.
We are at RS Motors. The team has pretty much gotten the TSX to where it needs to be, and we are handing it off to Andy at ASM. And so Andy's gonna go through the car. We have about 30 days before comp school. I'm gonna have Andy tell a little bit about himself. So yeah. Andy, where are you based off of, and what do you guys do?
So I'm Andy. I have a shop in central Wisconsin, ASM, and we specialize mostly in, I like to call it cars with a purpose, track cars, drift cars, competition cars. We've become highly known for our S2000s, specifically with K-Series swaps. And since then, we've done a number of K-swaps in just about everything from FDs to Civics to a bunch of FRSs. So we have a TSX with a K24 in it. And the purpose of this car is endurance racing, which we've done a number of stuff with S2000s. And there's a few things, special things I think you need to do for endurance racing. Really, it's just a matter of keeping these cars alive, keeping them running, not trying to stress them out too much. But we're gonna take this car and finish up some of the wiring, get it running good, tune it, and basically just get it set up to start go racing.
You guys work on a lot of different cars, and you guys know a lot of track guys with a variety of skill level, from just changing oil and tire to guys that do their own fab. I'm sure you get a variety of cars that come through the shop that need your work for one reason or another. Perfect example on this car is just a matter of time and expertise. So a lot of people can do some stuff, but they can't do it all. And that's where you come in, because you seem to kind of have a really good balance of everything.
Yeah, we've definitely had to kind of be more so the jack of all trades kind of thing. yeah, we have some customers that, you know, maybe they just come in and they just need alignment, you know, the basic stuff. And then there's some customers that literally just need everything, like from the transport to the track and maybe some coaching at the track, you know. So we've kind of done all of the very basic, you know, in and out jobs all the way up to we're storing your car for you and you just tell us where you want to go racing. So with that, I mean, everything in between, right? So from the engine stuff, you know, we do limit our some of the service we do. We're not getting into like engine machining and stuff, but we do some basic engine assembly and building and tuning and all the suspension and alignments, shocks, and then, yeah, like everything in between, wiring. We've kind of become somewhat of the last in line in a lot of these cars, where the customer will do as much as they can do, and then they just hand it off to us, and we just have to finish it, whatever that may be. You know, in this case, we're going to finish up a lot of the wiring, probably get it on the dyno and start tuning it, and then maybe go through, you know, we'll check over the suspension, alignment, just nut and bolt it, make sure it's actually ready to hit the track.
Several days later.
All right, so when we dropped off the vehicle, we pretty much gutted the inside. We left the OEM fuse boxes, engine bay and cabin, and we attempted to kind of delete a bunch of unnecessary wiring that may or may not have made Andy's job harder. So what did you have to go through to kind of get the car ready? What was your mindset?
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, literally the harness, fuse box, and everything was kind of just like clumped and thrown on the passenger floor. So I really started going through some of that, trying to make sense of some of the connectors. Thankfully, I did a case swap on an S2000 where we basically used all TSX stuff. So I was actually starting to like remember what all these connectors looked like and where things went. So I really just started to kind of look at every connector and make sense of where it's supposed to go. From there, really needed to get power to the rest of the car, so had to start hooking up all the, you know, making the ground straps for everything, the battery cable wires, running that to the kill switch and stuff. So once I could give the car some power, then I just started going through the process of like, all right, what's actually getting power? I started with the engine harness on this case. It was you guys made a custom engine harness, got that kind of plugged in. There's kind of the chassis connector part from that engine harness that needs to get connected to stuff to get power for things on the engine harness, needs to actually send out relay controls for your fuel pump, your fans, all that stuff. So started to kind of just using a power probe, go through and figure out where my power sources are coming from, looking at OEM Honda manuals, you know, finding the connector and figuring out which wire is giving me power, where's my signal wire to tell the fuel pump to come on, all that stuff. And most of them are just grounded switches out of the ECU. So the ECU says if you turn fuel pump on, and it just sends a ground to the relay. So using my probe, I can just give it ground. I hear the fuel pump. Okay, that's my fuel pump. Connect that to, you know, that pin on the HPDE. And so yeah, slowly just went through that process, make sure I got power on everything, fuel, all that stuff. Had to do the base map stuff for HPDE first, set all that stuff up, then cranked it, and yeah, started up. From there, it was, let's see, you know, make sure the brake lights work, make sure the fans are all working, make sure our ABS has power, and then kind of started doing more engine tuning, making sure everything runs good. Once it was to that phase, then I switched back over to the suspension stuff and started doing, you know, the corner weighting, the alignment, the final check of everything on the suspension, make sure this thing can drive down the road just fine. Once that's complete, then it was strap it on the dyno, start making some power.
So with endurance racing, for the guys that follow Brian's channel and has watched his progression from just doing, you know, HPDE events through the NASA program and following us through our future endurance racing, you know, race program, you've kind of seen it all. And what's your thoughts on if somebody's watching and saying like, hey, I think this is something that I know a bunch of guys that I would want to build a car with, my friends, or you know, track buddies that are always at the paddock with me. I like to build a car. I'd like to kind of get into some sort of team racing series. What's your advice on, say, picking a car, to picking people, to maybe like a stage 1, stage 2, get your feet wet kind of advice?
So this is a bit tricky because it's going to be probably a different answer for everyone. It really just depends on the kind of resources you have, you know, the people you have around you. My general advice is to maybe not build a car right away. I think you find someone, maybe if you know someone that is already doing it, you know, hopping on board, just renting a seat with them maybe, just to get your feet wet a little bit. Building a car can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you've never built race cars. You know, if you've just done track days with just your own car, that's just a street car, you know, it's quite a bit of a different animal, building a full track car. So maybe basically try not to get in over your head a bit, try to take things in smaller bite sizes. But if you do have the resources to build yourself a car, I mean, start basics, build something you're real familiar with. Don't have to get crazy. You know, everyone wants to try to be competitive and hit a home run on their first time out. Don't set those expectations. It's just, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So just start basic, start simple, do what you need to do, and just get out there and start doing it and start learning. The sooner you get out there and start learning, the much further along ahead you will be.
So the car is pretty much ready for our first event of the year. We're going to be at NCM in Kentucky doing a shakedown at NASA with NASA. You know, for now, the car is probably 80% of where it's going to be when it first starts Champ's car. There's still quite a bit of development from you know, feedback from Andy on suspension and parts recommendation and setting up the car. Right after that, in this month in March, we're going to be doing CMP with a track day with ASM on Thursday, and some coaching with Tom. And then shortly after that, we're going to go to Mid-Ohio for NASA again. And through the next couple of months, at least the next, you know, 2-3 months, there's going to be quite a bit of changes. So when you're working with a team owner or maybe it's just one driver with one car or a team, what's your thought process in terms of like building a relationship, making sure they succeed, and then kind of checking in on them in terms of like, you know, getting their feedback on where they want to take the car and what you recommend?
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of a conversation I usually try to have with all of our clients. You know, it ultimately is, what's your goal? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? You know, having some of those more deeper conversations, that helps us better understand their decisions and why they want to do the things they want to do, and then makes it easier for us to give recommendations on things. If a driver's goal is to go compete and do endurance racing, I'm not going to maybe send them off and tell them these are the things they need to do in their car and go sprint racing. Like, we try to always understand really what they want to do, and that's going to help us with making recommendations, whether it be car parts, or, you know what, I think really it's just the driver needs to maybe spend more time in the car. You know, don't spend the $10,000 upgrading all these things in your car. Let's just go drive. Yeah, the car might not be built as competitive as it could be, but I think with, you know, with your budget and the time that we have, it's better spent you in the car getting everything you can out of the car. We ask the driver what they want to do, and then, you know, through our, you know, all of our experience that we've had, we kind of know where we think they should be spending a lot of their resources on.
All right, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. I wish I could have been with Andy at his shop recording the process the entire time, but of course, way too busy to be doing that. And again, just wanted to thank Andy for finishing the TSX for us. That was a huge save because we just didn't have time to finish. But overall, I mean, that car was a bone stock car pulled into Kyle's garage about 6 months ago. From, I think, October or November of last year till now. Went from a stock car to a race car in such a short amount of time. Shout out to Kyle, Peter, and Charlie for all the endless nights, sleepless nights of working on that TSX up until now. And then of course, again, Andy for finishing it off for us so that we can have that thing ready to go for comp school. And then, you know, we can continue on with refining it and evolving it for eventually endurance racing with Champ cars. So next video, we have some really cool updates coming up next for the team. So stay tuned for that, but that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. So if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you guys wanna stay up to date with the team, with the TSX, with the EG and comp school, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Questions and comments, go ahead and put them down below. And if you guys wanna share the video, that definitely helps out the channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay smooth. I'll see you guys in the next video.